Today's the day. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it. It's 2 hours until showtime. Also, if you don't want to watch my journey, that is perfectly fine. I'm gonna put the time right here where you can just get my reaction. I want to make this beforehand because I feel like if I do it after and I don't get accepted, I'm not going to be like as unbiased. I don't know. Let's go through everything. So I have applied to the University of Florida. That is my dream school. Has been my dream school since I was tiny. Yeah, I've just always wanted to be a Gator. It's always been the dream. Like, I've never wanted to be anything but. So like, I play lacrosse and all these things. So yeah, I just felt like I could maybe fulfill like all those passions and aspirations that I have in UF. Okay, so let's just go through my stats. Let's get it out of the way now. I've kind of taken this day to just take everything in because I understand that like whatever happens today, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define anyone. If you don't get into the school that you wanted or desired, it doesn't make you anything less. But of course, like, who wants to get rejected from the school that they want? Well, one thing to point out with my application, so I did regular admission, which means I get in based on spots available only. So I mean, I don't know, I was stupid. So everybody else found out like February 28th. I find out today, March 27th, in 2 hours. So at 6 p.m. I find out like what's going on. Alright, so let's just go through my stats really quick. So let's just get the SATs out of the way. I didn't do well. I got a 1200. And that's one of the reasons why I had to do regular admission, was because I took it in like October or something, and it was garbage. I got an 1150. So I mean, a 1200 is still bad, but you know, it's a little bit better. And I also wanted to get like all the money I could, and Bright Futures is 1170 or something like that for 75%. So taking it again was the only option. Okay, so coursework. I'm Cambridge Diplomacy, so I've taken Cambridge classes. I'm only taking like 2 AP classes because my school doesn't offer that many, and the ones that they do have, it's like physics and no thanks. So my extracurriculars, I'm in multiple activities. I think I'm in like most activities at my school, but I only included the ones that are important to me and the ones that I take leadership roles in, because those are really the ones that I'm extremely passionate about. So I've done Best Buddies since it started at my school, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I'm currently president of Best Buddies. So yeah, Best Buddies is the first one. I do have a leadership role. I work really hard on it. Last year I was even event coordinator. Next, I'm in student government at my school. I'm currently vice president of the student body. This is my first year doing it, so it was kind of risky. I hope this didn't affect my application, but I just felt like the thing that I wanted to come across in my application is that I have that leadership quality, so I felt like it was kind of important to include it. Sports, I've done lacrosse. Yeah, so lacrosse got canceled in my school this year, blah blah blah, but I would have been co-captain with my friend Mia. Another organization that I belong to is Women of Tomorrow. I'm currently vice president. Like, this is my 2nd year in a row. I love Women of Tomorrow. It's basically a club that teaches women more about themselves and about being the future, empowerment, and all those things. So it's so important to me, and I've done it all years. Law Club is a club that's very important to me. Due to budget cuts, it got cut this year, but it still is extremely important to me. I became vice president my sophomore year and was in it since my freshman year. The next one is Law Honor Society. To be in Law Honor Society, you have to be a 10th grader, and that's when I joined, and now I am president of Law Honor Society. So yeah, those are the clubs that I participate in. So I didn't, obviously I'm in orchestra and I'm in all these other things, but I really didn't want to like pack my application with things that I do not care about or am not as passionate about as the other ones, and I do want it to shine through with my leadership roles. So I made sure to just pack it on things that I really do care about. Alright, so now to my essay. You can leave, or like I'll put another time right here when I finish reading my essay, so you do not have to stay and read my essay if you, or hear me speak my essay if you don't want to. So the prompt was, and I'll put it on the screen so you guys can read along with me. Tell a story from your life, describing an experience that either demonstrates your character or helped to shape it. The whispers began as soon as he entered my second grade classroom. He came in peeking behind a woman who I presumed was his mother. The principal came in behind them and hurried over to our teacher. She whispered something to her while pointing at the little boy. His head hung low. After the exchange, Mrs. Comas quickly went over to the little boy. She began to speak in a language I did not recognize. Tears began to roll down his cheeks, so she took him outside. After what seemed like eternity, they came back in and she made an announcement. "This is Richard. He's from Haiti. I know you're all well informed on the devastating earthquakes that hit his country." She looked at him. "Now, Richard doesn't speak English, so who here is willing to work a little extra to make him feel welcome, Dan? Me, Miss Comas, me." I cut her off before she could even finish. I was so ready to make a new friend. Maybe I wouldn't be able to relate to all the trauma he had gone through, but I saw loneliness in his glassy eyes, and I was very familiar with feeling isolated from everyone. I didn't want him to feel that way. Everyone deserves a friend, and I was more than willing to be his. I had already started to draw a little stick figure that waved hello when they brought him to my table. Cheerfully, I turned my yellow paper towards him. He chuckled. "Hi," I said with enthusiasm. Poor Richard looked puzzled. I forgot. He didn't speak English, but 8-year-old me wasn't giving up so easily. "New plan, my friend," I announced. I refused to allow the language barrier become a problem for us. I wanted to celebrate our differences, not bury them. So, after dedicating an hour or so to testing what worked and what didn't, we learned to communicate through a combination of Creole, Spanish, drawings, and hand signals. Sometimes the other kids would watch us and jeer, but I told him we had each other, and that's all that mattered. The first 2 days went by wonderfully. Being his friend was the simplest thing I had ever done. But then came Pizza Wednesdays. I don't think anyone loved pizza more than I did at that age. It didn't matter how many times I had it. When asked what I wanted to eat, everyone could always count on my answer to be pizza. Every Wednesday, my school would bring in a vendor that would sell my beloved pizza to any student who could afford it. We were busy watching a movie when the vendor entered the room, and as usual, the hungry kids ran to be first in line. Right as I began to push into the line myself, I looked back at my new friend. His head was hanging low, his shoulders were slumped, but his eyes, however, were looking up. I knew what he was looking at, and I knew what was wrong. I looked at my green treasure. My stomach was grumbling. Without a word, I walked away from the line and towards my new friend. I opened his palm, gave him my treasure, and sat down. His eyes grew wide. He ran to the vendor to purchase a slice of pizza. He was beaming. When he came back, he offered me to take a bite, but I declined. I didn't need it anymore. I was full. So yeah, I just feel like this is one of those first moments in my life where I felt like, obviously I care because I have sisters and stuff, but this is one of the first moments in my life where I think I started caring more about others than myself. And I feel like, especially when you're in elementary school, it's definitely years in your life where you're molded. And I feel like those are truly the things that matter. And I know this sounds so cliche, but it really does, you know, just making sure you're a good person to others. As long as you're making others feel good and, you know, being kind and giving back, I feel like that's what's most important. So yeah, I chose this because it's simple. I feel like who I am as a person comes through, and I hope they see that. Oh my god, I'm just really nervous. I haven't slept. I just hope it's enough. If it's not, it's okay. It's not gonna be okay, but I'll get through it. It cut. Whatever. I feel like, yeah, I could have done whatever. I could have spoken about how I've like tutored kids like with piano at a music program, but I didn't. I wanted to do something that reflected who I was from a young person, and just how I've grown from that moment. And I think that the essay and my extracurriculars really tied in together. I'm just really nervous, and I just like look back at the footage, and the angle is very ugly. I don't know.
my god. I wasn't sure. Like, to be honest, I was like, she's not getting in. And I felt so bad for you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my god, wow, look, I got in.
Oh my god. You're your rival's dream school. She's just not gonna care. She's mad at you.
No están oyendo que el niño está dormido, mami. Pero tiene minutos. Es impresionante. Le digo, el niño está dormido, mami. ¿Qué quieres?
Entrar a ese
Wow.
Yay.
What's that vestido?
You were scared you weren't gonna get into any school. She was scared she was gonna get stuck with us forever. Yay! She got into college.
What college?
FSU.
Guess who, like,